So hello everyone and welcome back to Axon on Gamers. Today I decided to do something very special and talk about Chrono Trigger, one of my favorite games ever and one of the most important actually. I have very many memories of this game and there's a lot I want to share with you guys. So yeah, let's get right into it, and I want to start at the very beginning. It was around 16 years ago or so, yeah, when I played this the first time, and that was back in school. I had a friend who recommended the game for me. This could be like one of the first video game recommendations ever for me actually. So that's pretty special as well, because not only that, but this is definitely the first Japanese RPG that I played besides Pokemon. So yeah, what happened was that speaking of Pokemon, that's the game we played together, and that's how I knew this guy. His name was Adam, actually. So he had been watching his older brother playing Chrono Trigger, and the funny thing is this game was never released in Europe, never released here where I live in Sweden. So I'm very happy I got the chance to play it and that he recommended it to me. But yeah, just pure accident. The thing is, I had been playing mostly on PC. My Game Boy Color and Pokemon Yellow was the only game I owned back then. But I played some NES games on emulators on my PC, which my father helped me out getting. And I had been playing games on DOS as well. So yeah, this is a long time ago. But my friend Adam decided to show me Chrono Trigger. He went to my place and browsed the internet to see if we could get a ROM of the game, because I had a SNES emulator as well. Pretty interesting, because we would go to this website called Emu Paradise. I believe it's still up actually. It's a website that I don't use very often nowadays, but it's one that I would go to after getting Chrono Trigger. I would go to this site all the time because it had so many ROMs, and I believe it still does. Yeah, it was a very good site. But why I want to bring the site up is that this could be a 90s thing, but on the sides of the webpage you would see commercial or just like art in general. And for this website at the time, there would be art of Chrono Trigger, or Chrono, like the main character. Actually, it's funny because back when he recommended the game to me, I wasn't very hyped to try it out. I was happy with Pokemon Yellow. It's funny that way. But yeah, I decided to give it a shot anyway, and I was very skeptical though for whatever reason. I can't believe why. But the thing is, I guess I actually remember I would think the game Chrono Trigger would be a sports game. I don't really have the explanation for that, but yes, a boxing game in particular. That's as much as I can remember thinking back to it. But yeah, seeing the artwork of Chrono on this website would prove me wrong. What's so funny is that Chrono Trigger and Dragon Ball has the same character designer, Akira Toriyama. He's one of my favorites. And back then, as a kid, I had been watching Dragon Ball GT because a friend of mine who went back and forth to Spain and Sweden, he would record Dragon Ball GT episodes every time he went to Spain. So yeah, that's that. So when I saw Chrono, I would react instantly, and this is before my friend Adam told me that this was Chrono Trigger. So I would say, hey, that character looks like Goku from Dragon Ball, and he said like, yeah, that's Chrono, the main character from Chrono Trigger, and it blew my mind. I was like, yeah, let's download this game right away and get into it, and we did. Man, am I happy today that I gave it a shot. I would play this game, I don't know for how many like years or how long time actually, but remember playing it as a kid. I remember beating the game 3 times in total, because I do remember which endings I got. This is a game that has like multiple endings, above 10. Yeah, definitely more than 10. Not sure the exact amount of endings it has, but yeah, quite a lot. But yeah, I remember 3 of them. they're very, very important, and nothing I want to spoil today. I highly recommend you go out and play this game if you haven't. Most of you have probably already heard of this. It's a very known game overall because it's just that good, which is something I want to get back to later as well. But yes, so I played this on the emulator for a very long time. I loved the game. Back then I did not know a lot of English, as most kids in Sweden wouldn't. So yeah, I would just play it blindly. It's a pretty straightforward game, although it's pretty open. Like, you can go to many different places in many different timelines, so it's a bit complicated. But as a kid, you know, you had a lot of time, and I would go everywhere on this world map and just look around for things to do and things to find. And like I said, there's many endings, there's also a lot to do. So yeah, had a lot of fun playing this game. I would not replay it until many years later. I got the PSP, which some of you know already is one of my favorites. It was my all-time favorite for a very long time. Now everything I could play on the PSP I can play on my Vita, so the Vita should like be the favorite from now on. I'm not quite sure though, I have many favorite systems. But on the PSP, there was a day when they unlocked the possibility to play PlayStation 1 games downloaded from a PC in like full speed, no issues or anything. I really don't know why or how. Many emulators struggled on the PSP, but the PlayStation 1 emulator worked fantastic. And the thing is that Chrono Trigger had got a version for the PS1 with new cutscenes, like animated cutscenes, which again looked very much like Dragon Ball. And the intro, like many other intros, is a collaboration of different events from the game. So replaying this on my PSP, the PS1 version of the game, was so cool, because when I booted it up, the first thing you would see was this this intro with all the scenes. So I got very nostalgic. This must have been like around 5 to like 8 years after I played it from Super Nintendo. I'm not quite sure, but yes. So I replayed it again, and this is the funny part. Because I had already beaten the game 3 times, I would just skip through the text, and this was something I did a lot back in the day. I played so many Japanese games because whenever I played an English game, I wouldn't read anyway, because like I didn't know very much English back when I was super young. So of course I would start reading more in games. But replaying Chrono Trigger, which I already had finished 3 times, I would just skip through all the text. But just replaying it for the nostalgia and all the new cutscenes alone was very, very, very nice. Still emulated though, and this was more when I hadn't started collecting games, but I kept all of my favorites. And I always dreamed of having like a physical copy of Chrono Trigger in my collection, but it was never released here. Like, the PlayStation version wasn't released here, and the Super Nintendo wasn't as well. So yeah, I wouldn't see like a physical copy of the game or anything, like not in stores or not at any friends' places either. Not that the PlayStation version was rare, but yeah, I just totally missed out on like holding a actual physical copy of this game for many years, and that's something we will get to eventually. So that's it for the PlayStation version. Or no, one thing actually. I have a few things I want to show you, one at a time of course, but this is something I got when I played it on my PSP. This is a guidebook from Japan. It says it's the complete guidebook for Chrono Trigger, the version for PlayStation. And of course I couldn't read this back then, and I can't read a lot of it now either, but it has a lot of the maps, so yeah, this is a good one. You can see here how you can check all the maps. It's great because if you would ever get lost, I can still use this, you know. So that's the first thing. The second thing was I thought the artwork was so beautiful in these cutscenes and in the PlayStation version in general. that you have all the artwork in this one as well. So it was great to actually have like something physical related to Chrono Trigger, like at all. Yeah, very cool stuff. Something actually exclusive to this book, or as far as I know, are these like item. I'm not sure if you can see very well, but it's pictures of the items, and these are not in the game, not in any version to date, actually. So here you can see like drawn full designs of the items, which were only in text before. Yeah, very cool stuff. This was a gift from Tony, another friend of mine. So again, thank you very much for that. But yeah, where we'll go from now? I would eventually replay Chrono Trigger one more time, and that was on the DS. And that's actually when I got my physical copy of the game. So this is what it looked like. It's the same design they had for the Super Nintendo box in North America. This is a US copy as well, so that's probably why. But yeah, very good version of the game. This is basically the PlayStation 1 version, but on a handheld and with like reduced loading times and stuff. When I played the PS1 version, I really didn't care for the loading times. I've heard a lot of them online nowadays. People love to compare stuff, like graphics here and there. Yeah, I didn't mind. The game is so good that if you can play it on the PlayStation, go ahead. No worries really. But this could be the best version actually. It was retranslated as well, which is something today that I'm pretty sad about, because when I played it on the DS, same as the PlayStation, I already knew the story. I thought like I knew the overall story, so I wouldn't care for the dialogue. So this is another one where I didn't read a lot. Should really go back into this and see how well they retranslate the game, because retranslations sometimes are very nice. It's something I've been doing more and more recent years. There's also one for Breath of Fire 2, which is one I want to check out sometime. But yeah, let's get more back into Chrono Trigger. So after playing it on the DS and like having played this for over 10 years, this would really become one of my favorite games. Not just out of nostalgia, but it's just so good. It's a very good game, and like I would get more into like finding out which other games were similar and who made the music for other games. Like remember the names of composers and stuff. This was a few years ago when I got back into gaming after playing World of Warcraft. I would start caring about more details like creators and composers and stuff like that. So we would go to an orchestra actually, where they played music from different Square Soft games and Square Enix games as well, I suppose. So this is something I want to show you, but a little story first. So when we got there, I didn't know we were gonna meet anybody. I was just going there to listen to the music from Final Fantasy VI first and foremost. That was my most anticipated like music out of this orchestra. But they were going to play music from Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross as well. Chrono Cross is another favorite of mine. Especially the music, very good. But anyway, so we got there and we took our seats, and then I would actually see Yatsunori Mitsuda. That's what I remember his name is, the composer for Chrono Trigger. He would like be a bit far away from us, but still I could see him, and there was yeah, it's so cool. It's a very great memory of mine. I never got to talk to him or anything like that. But what was very cool was that a friend of mine who had all of our tickets actually met up with him and had him sign all of our tickets. So when I got this back the other day, it would be signed from Mitsuda himself. Very cool stuff. yeah, super amazing. I'm glad I still have this, and I'm gonna keep it as long as I can. Another meeting with celebrities, like when it comes to Square, would be sometime when this was much later. I was gonna try out Final Fantasy 13 Lightning Returns. So yeah, this was pretty recent actually. 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, something like that. A good game, by the way. So we would go there, and Yoshinori Kitase would actually be there. He's one of the bigger guys in Square. He's been working on many great games, and Chrono Trigger in particular. So there I brought like some of my stuff I wanted him to sign. But we went there. This was in Stockholm. We went there one day prior to the event, and I would sleep at my friend's place. His name is Martin. So when we got there, he actually had a copy of like the Super Nintendo original of Chrono Trigger, the one which never was released here, by the way, which I at that time had still never seen in person, never like hold or never like this was brand new to me. And this is a game that I had for like 15 years or so, wanting to like not just own but like see for myself, because this, like, I would go to so many video game stores, but this game would never be there because it was never released here, of course. So, and I actually have it right here. And I'll tell you more how I got this. It was super generous of you, Martin. But yes, this right here, it was on his floor actually, if I remember correctly. Maybe prepared in advance, I don't know. But yeah, this still to this day feels unreal for me to hold. I put it in this protective box, so maybe if like we have some flare here, I'm sorry. But yeah, I remember at his place, I would ask him, I was actually shaking at the time, I would ask him, is it okay if I open this up? And he would be like, yeah, of course, you can do whatever you want, right? So I opened it up, and inside there was this, like, of course, the instruction manual, which was in color with a lot of great artwork and stuff. So this, I almost started crying, actually, browsing through this stuff, because, yeah, it was, I've been wanting to see it for myself for such a long time. And then behind the manuals there would be like maps, so you could fold them out to have maps of the different like timelines and world maps in Chrono Trigger. So those were very cool. And on the back of the maps there would be posters, like very nice posters. So that's where I actually like shed a tear, to be honest. So it's so cool stuff, like that you could have a box of such a good game and not only get the manual but also like maps and posters, and yes, so very cool. You don't get that today, you really don't. So that's when he said like, hey, I can't remember how like when he told me, or if it was exact this moment. I want to recall it that way, but he told me that I could have it, and that blew my mind. He said if I was gonna meet Yoshinori Kitase, yeah, I might as well just like bring it to have it signed. That was crazy. That was unreal, so unreal. Sadly, he couldn't attend the event, so I never had the game signed, but I got to keep the game anyway. And this is something like we don't talk very often, but it's been like, I've asked him, is it okay if I keep it, this and that, but we never really sorted it out. And we could do that. If you watch this, then fine, that's cool. But to actually have that same copy, which was the first one I ever saw in my possession, it's amazing. So what I did when I got home with this copy was that I would fold out the maps and actually frame frame the posters. So here's the first one. Not sure how this looks in the camera, but yeah, this is the artwork for the game, which you've seen multiple times now. And the other one, which also looks very, very nice, is this. This is my favorite, actually, out of the two. This is art I've never seen before. I've never seen this art in anything really, like, yeah, I'm sure it's in some kind of guidebook or art book, or maybe in the guidebook I had for myself. Maybe I haven't looked close enough. But to see this is such a cool poster. So this has been hanging on my wall ever since. I just took them down to show you guys, of course. But yeah, I guess that's it for my Chrono Trigger stories for this time. I'm sure I'll come up with something more to tell you. But those are some of the items I have for Chrono Trigger, and some of my memories as well. What I did the other day was I actually took the cartridge out of this and put it into my Super Nintendo to play, which I still hadn't done until like 2 days ago. Very special. What was so cool was to actually like play it on a real Super Nintendo, because I grew up with emulators, both the Super Nintendo one on PC and then the PlayStation 1 on PSP. Like I had emulated these games so many times, and playing it on the DS was still unhandled, you know, so very different. Playing it on my CRT, on my European like PAL Super Nintendo, because it's modded for region free and 60 Hz and all that stuff. It's so cool anyway. Also, like, reading everything, because now that I play it on the Super Nintendo, I actually read every line. I go out of my way to talk to every NPC to actually like don't miss anything. And it's cool because like in the detail that Frog has this like old English style accent, because he's from the past. That's something I had entirely missed. So very cool stuff. Right, so I guess that's that. Thanks a lot for watching. I'm so happy to be back. So until next time, get gaming.